one of the things I was reading right here that said the Pentagon, which had not previously acknowledged the debate over where their four-man team be most valuable, defended on Wednesday the decision to keep them in the Capitol. We continue to believe that there was nothing this team could have done to assist during the second attack in Benghazi. Well, how do you know? You didn't even try. And you didn't know the outcome of all this until hindsight. So you're in the midst of an ongoing battle in a battlefield. No one knows what the result's going to be. No one knows whether you are going to be attacked with a very large force. So I think that's a ridiculous comment that the Pentagon made. I mean, you don't know if you don't try. And I've talked to several special operators that are personal friends of mine. These guys wanted to try, I guarantee you. Those four special operators wanted to try. And I understand that they didn't know what was going to happen in Tripoli. That makes sense to me. I mean, you can't predict there either. But you did know what was going on right where you were. And the other thing that was obvious, I never watch the Sunday news shows. I'm always at church on Sunday morning. I have to plead. I'm now pleading. I was at home and watched the Sunday news shows when Susan Rice, for some reason, and I was traveling maybe that afternoon. I can't remember why I was home, but I watched all of her interviews. For some reason, I clicked around to see what she was saying. That was unbelievable, knowing what you know now. And even then, when the Prime Minister said it was a terrorist attack, Mr. Hicks says a terrorist attack, they had to know it was a terrorist attack. And I obviously can't comment because I've seen the redacted tapes. I've seen the CIA tapes. And I think the correct conclusion was the acting ambassador. When the ambassador was killed, he was the ambassador, acting ambassador. It was correct. It's a terrorist attack, a coordinated terrorist attack. And to keep repeating this days and days after, it never made any sense to me, politically or any reason why you would have said that. I know we had an election coming up in a couple of months, but that still didn't make any sense to me. And I think the truth will finally come out. I'm really glad they held this hearing. I was very pleased that they did that. And I think allowing these people, what also amazed me, I haven't been following that story as closely as I probably should have because I've been so busy with my own issues, but the fact that Mr. Hicks just now testified that he was actually there in Libya at the time. It's amazing to me that you wouldn't have had somebody who was on the ground, not somebody who was thousands of miles away back here in Washington, D.C., but somebody who actually had eyeballs on the ground, actually talking to the people there in Benghazi. How do you feel about it?
What do you make of the White House saying even having this hearing today was a attempt to politicize Benghazi?
It's an attempt to find the truth. And I mean, how can you politicize someone when you don't know the truth yet? So I don't know that there's a cover-up. I don't know. I think what the committee's doing makes a lot of sense, is to get the people who were there, put them under oath, as they did today, and let these folks freely testify. I think there'll be other, and I think it should be. I mean, I've been in a foreign country. I've been in a place that was very dangerous in the military. I never thought, ever, one time it never crossed my mind that my buddies wouldn't come after me. Never crossed my mind. I spent 13 months near the DMZ in Korea 40 years ago, and the one thing that I knew would happen is if all hell broke loose, my buddies, if there was any way possible, would come help me. And those guys that are up there at the same place I am, they believe that. And we stuck our ambassadors out there and said, we're not going to come help you. You're on your own. Well, I mean, think about what if you're an ambassador and those folks, our civil servants, are brave people. And you heard today the testimony, the part that I heard about the bravery of so many of those people. And I mean, true heroes that tore up the computers and packed the stuff and under great duress. So, and they had to know, I'm out here and my country is not coming to help me. That'd be a terrible feeling. That's not what you do. It's not the country I'm proud of. The country I'm proud of is when some of my special operator friends, and I don't think he'll mind you, he's out of the military now. He's a former commander of the Special Operations Command, Gary Hicks, and he said that we should have tried. Gary Harrell.
Right.
General Gary Harrell, good friend of mine, lives in Tennessee. He said we should have tried. And that's a special operator that wanted to try. And I guarantee that things that I saw, those 2 special ops guys that were there that died, that they are true heroes. No doubt about it.
So we still don't know what happened, who's responsible, and the next step, do you think, is another hearing, or should there be more pressure on the administration?
I think you'll see more hearings. I think you're going to see more and more people come forward. And I think there are other people who want to testify, and I think they want to testify under oath. I think there probably was some pressure, political pressure from higher up on these career, civil service people.
One of them said that they were told not to cooperate with congressional investigators. That was one of the
I can tell
things.
you this. I've been around a while. If I had been Susan Rice and they gave me that cock and bull story, I'd have said, think another cock and bull story up before I go out and face a camera and tell people that. I mean, the tooth fairy's a better tale than that thing was. And she repeated it over and over again with a straight face. And that's not what, how can the people in our country trust us if we go in front of a camera and knowingly lie? And that's what the woman did. If she had worked for me, I would have fired her. Should have gone down and said that. The problem with it was she was being a good soldier and doing what she was told to do. And I think it's a point in time when you're a good soldier and you're given an order like that, I'd have refused it. I wouldn't have done it. They'd have fired me that day because I wouldn't have gone out and done that.
And the White House is still standing by her. Jay Carney was saying today that he stands by her, and even mentioned that she did acknowledge that it was a terror attack. That was what he was saying today.
He has a revisionist view of things that I don't have. And he also is the same guy that I thought rather crudely said that this was a long time ago. I mean, think about families that had someone killed in September. I say this sort of tongue-in-cheek because I'm an obstetrician. 9 months is a long time if you're pregnant. But if you've lost a family member, that loss still burns in you. I mean, that's a very short time. And I thought that was one of the crudest remarks I've heard. Just blow it off like it was no big deal. It was a long time ago. That issue's over. Not over. And if my son had died there, I'd certainly want some answers. That'd have been one of my family members. And I think we're getting to it. I really do. I think Chairman Issa and others in the committee are getting to the bottom of it. And thank goodness. I mean, I think we'll feel better as Americans when that's all said and done. I will certainly feel better knowing what the truth is. And it is what it is. I mean, we shouldn't be afraid of the truth.